and I know what I can get with ease. So I tend to deal with that in that situation. I tend to deal with the problem. I tend to deal with the ignorant baby daddies because of this. I tend to deal with the snot-nosed kids. But I wasn't happy, you know. So
Right.
I was, living, going for the wrong reasons, in that particular situation. Thank God I got to my common sense and I walked away from that situation. But ironically, it wasn't simply because it was bad that I walked away. I walked away from the situation because she relocated.
Okay.
So because her job
Um,
took her away, it gave me the opportunity to step
to
back and
finally
look
break
at
away.
life and look, it's like, whoa, hold on. What the hell was my problem? Why was I dealing with this? I didn't have to deal with this. Hell, I got, option A, B, C, D. Why I keep going with Y? Because that's all I kept saying every time I dealt with her. Why? Why? So things happen. It happens. It's a lesson learned that I will never do again, but I truly understand why people would go back to their ex,
Right. And I
Definitely.
know as far this happens more so with women than men when it comes to, as you mentioned earlier, financial stability or financial status.
Correct.
You see it all the time, whether it's in your own home, your own family, or you see it in movies or reality shows of this woman who, comes across this guy and he shows her all the things that she's never seen before. The expensive clothes and shoes and the celebrity lifestyle and whatnot, or the high social life, and she becomes accustomed to this. She begins to, want this more, and she's like, okay, she'll end up putting up with anything that this man brings to the table bad because she doesn't want to lose that lifestyle. She doesn't see anyone else out here who can give her this lifestyle. And it reminds me of that one scene in that Tyler Perry movie, Family That Prayed, where the Cartwright family, and the young lady, she was married to one of the Cartwrights, successful businessman, top of his game, very wealthy family, but she found out he was having an affair with
Correct.
one of his workers working for him, and she was highly upset about it, and she was wanting to leave him, and went to the mother. And, was like, your son is having an affair on me. What should I do? And the mother pretty much was laughing and was like, he's having an affair, honey, that's it. And she's looking at her like, what do you mean that's it? He's cheating on me. And she was like, look, she pretty much was like, in her own words, she was saying that if you want to enjoy the lifestyle of a Cartwright, as a woman, you got to put up with a few things, which involves affair.
Right. That actually brings up a great point. I'm glad you mentioned that. Because in this world, because it is raised to be a man's world, regardless of how you want to look at it, at the end of the day, it is made to be a man's world. It is always made to be that the woman is supposed to be the homebody and the man is supposed to be the provider. And because of situations like that, if you have a man that is in a financial stable situation, they are always taught as a young girl, hold on to that man. If a man comes from money, I mean, you can even go back in history. There were situations where kings and queens would actually marry off their daughters to an individual strictly because of his financial situation. If the princess was ever to want to be involved with someone that is below their financial status, she was disowned in some situation. So because it is put upon a woman to, regardless of whatever else is in life, okay, and Station might get shut down for this because I'm about to make this statement. White people are always taught to marry for stability, while black people are always taught to marry for love. That's why you tend to see a lot of situations where a white woman is in an unhappy relationship. Okay? A lot of cheating that occurs in marriages from the woman does not come from the simple fact that she don't think her man doesn't love her anymore. It's the simple fact that she was never with this person for love to begin with. It was always there for the financial stability, which is really the only thing they care about. It's a Stepford wife syndrome. Okay? You are literally there because this person will help you get to where you need to be. And because of that, when that opportunity comes up, women will latch on to that more likely than the sexual reason. Hell, I know some girls who will put up with the worst sex you could possibly have simply because this man's financial stability is top notch. I'm not talking military. I mean, not talking not military. Millionaire status. Let's be honest. Let me find a woman of $1 million status. Hell, I'll put up with whatever kinky shit you want.
Oh, Lord, kinky shit.
I'm gonna be good. But that's why I was actually surprised that people come back for sex was number one over people go back to their ex for money, because a lot of races, a lot of communities are built around financial stability. Think about it. As a young child, when your daddy teaches you, when you go out there and find a man, one of the first things he instills in you is make sure that man is stable.
Yes.
They always say that. Don't date no broke nigga. Okay? That's the first thing people teach. Don't date no broke nigga. Don't fuck with them niggas with no money. Like, we bash niggas on Twitter for being broke.
Yeah.
Being bum-ass niggas, as they like to refer to them as. Okay?
You a bum in my equivalent voice.
Right. You know what I'm saying? You really is considered a bum because your financial status is not there, because that's where it is. And because of the financial status being so important, that's why you have people who are all flash and no flare, because the flash is what draws you in. Okay?
Exactly.
So the financial stability really does play a big factor in bringing the relationship back. So, if you ain't got no job, you ain't got no money coming in, 9 times out of 10, you going through your phone trying to find that ex who got a little bread in their pocket. I mean, that's what they do.
And I found myself almost slipping into that pattern, because I really, the more I get to know myself and the more I, converse with other women and I see stuff like this and I see what they put up with, or even whether it's my mom or other people, I see the things they have put up with from men so they can be stable. And I feel like I'm cut from a different cloth, and I've had times where I've had female friends and close family members call me crazy or stupid because I was, dating a guy who was financially set, and once we started, having difficulties and it didn't work, I left. And they're like, are you crazy, blah, 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 he's upset, blah, blah. And so I've been called crazy, I've been called stupid, I've been called dumb, but I know I'm the kind of person like, yeah, that's great, don't get me wrong, because I will tell you offhand, I'm not messing with no broke dude. But at the same time, I do want those other, aspects of affection and love and things like that. And like most recently, I had to recently just finally close the door on someone that I was with, and we have been, we didn't talk for a couple of months, but in that time that I was, out here and dating and pretty much, on the rebound, trying to get him out my system, he was one of those guys who, when it comes to financial status and all that, was the highest that I've ever dated. So I got introduced to some things, and then my mind started going about where it could go with not just being with him, because I cared for him, but also his lifestyle and what that could bring. And thinking he could be there for me if I needed him to be there. Because, I work and pay my own bills, but if I ever needed it, I know that I could go to him for it. But me thinking those things, and we took those months apart, I started to forget all the bad things about why we stopped talking in the first place, and all that I had on my mind was all the good times that we had together and the possibility of what else good could come of this. So I went back thinking, okay, let's try this again. Let's make it work this time. And nothing changed, hoping it would change. It was still the same thing. And I'm thinking, do I really want to put up with his ways just because he is who he is and he has what he has? And I just woke up one day and I was like, I can't do it. Maybe some other woman can do it, but I can't do it. I can't be one of those women who's bitter and unhappy, but I got the flyest, Louboutins on. I got the hottest Manolos on my feet. I'm driving my Benz, but I'm unhappy. My man ain't listening to me. We don't talk.
Right. Well, we actually have our very first caller. And this particular caller is very close to both of us. He's actually a member of the Tone Deaf family himself, and actually is the host of the Definitely Fresh show himself, Mr. Young, Fresh, and Fly. So Mr. Young, Fresh, and Fly, what do you have to say in regards to the topic about going back to your ex?
Yes. Hello.
I think you should never do it.
Why not?
Because it's a bad move.
I mean, but what if it was your fault, though?
Well, then you should leave that shit alone. If you fuck over once, you'll fuck over twice. And if they fucked you over once, they're bound to fuck you over again. So why keep bending over and putting yourself in a position to be fucked?
Well, what if you in love with that person, though?
Right, yeah.
Well, love equals stupidity. So
This is true, but yet and still.
Yeah.
So what you're saying in so many words is, fuck that shit, I'm done with it.
I mean, you got to, fam. Like, cause when you get put in them positions, it's all bad. Like, at one point in time in my life, I thought I was growing gray hair.
Hold on, is that a direct? Did you just make a direct shot at me?
No.
Gray hair, so.
Dude, women have stressed my life out, man.
No,
Like,
but I'm saying, like, at one point in time, in my younger days, I felt like at the age of 17, I found my everything. And when I say I found my everything, this is a chick I wanted to marry, I wanted to have kids with. Like, I just wanted to be everything. Because, like, how you say women are taught when they grow up, like, I was always taught to be a certain way when you have a girlfriend. Like, I was raised in the era where you open doors, you pull out chairs, you know. No matter how much money she got in her pocket, you pay for everything because that's just how I was raised.
we ain't gonna get on that.
You pick up the bill. You
We need a
everything,
we need a standing ovation. We need a standing ovation right now.
Okay, hold on, wait a minute. This is a
Let's-
side
let's-
of you.
let's just
Y'all
clap.
gotta understand.
Thank you.
See, y'all have to understand, Mr. Fresh himself, for him to actually come out and say he actually have feelings is a milestone in life. Okay? You know, this is Mr. Fuck your feelings. Is this way or just don't fly. So this is a lot coming from him. So I have to actually give my boy Fresh credit for opening it up.
Yes.
So you need to get off the air before you get in trouble at work. Real talk.
Yeah,
Yes, get back to work, bro.
All right.
All
yeah.
right. All right.
All
Yeah,
right.
that was yeah. He was a little vulnerable there. That was good though.
I'm surprised he got vulnerable there. That shocked me. That man actually he does have a heart. So shout out to the Definitely Fresh Show. Like Tasha said, make sure you tune in every Tuesday starting at 8 p.m. You can actually catch the Lexi Trinae show immediately followed by the Definitely Fresh Show. Two of them on my best shows actually on the air. I got to give both of them credit because they both actually broke great debut records that I'm actually proud of them for. I mean, Tasha, you actually smashed some really good records too. So honestly, we actually had a great week last week. We really did.
That's great. Shouts out to everybody. That's wonderful.
Definitely. And for anybody else who wants to call in, just definitely make sure you can definitely give us a call if you're listening on the computer at 602-753-1664. Definitely follow me at Mr. Tone Deaf on Twitter. Literally, I post all day in regards to the show. So the link is always there. And make sure you follow Tasha herself at
Natasha Nafrini. Okay, Nafrini is N-A-F as in Frank, R-I-N-I. A lot of people get that mixed up, but it's Natasha Nafrini, all one word.
I used to call you Nefertiri for like ever in a day.
Nefertiri. It is. And just to clarify, people say, where did that come from? It is Egyptian, and it stands for She Brings Beauty. And I was going with my government name, which is Natasha Farrow. But there's already someone out there who's, flying high with that full name, so I have to change it up because everyone kept linking her to me, even though our skin tones are totally different. But that's another topic.
So really somebody out there just, living that life off your name? That's bogus.
Yeah, she's singing on soundtracks. She's doing her thing. Natasha Farrow, she's out there. So I
Hold on now. Don't sell yourself short. Because if I'm not mistaken, I've seen you in several music videos recently, as well as a couple of